So today's video, we're going to talk about the 7 best neighborhoods in the Austin area according to niche.com. I know a lot of people ask, what are the best schools? What are the safest neighborhoods? What are the best places to live? And there's certain questions that we can't answer as real estate agents, but niche.com gathered all this info based on user data, put together a list, so we're going to share those with you today. So stay tuned for the top 7 neighborhoods in the Austin area. So a question we get a lot as real estate agents, it's in the comment section or when we're meeting with clients is, what areas are safe? What schools are good? And why we can't answer those questions as real estate agents. So, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, there were a lot of real estate agents and some lenders that were trying to control demographics of neighborhoods. And so fair housing laws were passed to basically prevent real estate agents from using their personal opinions about neighborhoods. So niche.com has been compiling user data so that people who live in the neighborhoods can give you information on how they feel about the neighborhoods, but without the personal opinions of real estate agents getting thrown in. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about niche.com's user-generated list and what local residents think of various areas around Austin. We are going to start with number 7 and work our way back up, and number 7 gets us started with Hancock. The Hancock neighborhood is a well-established area located just north of the University of Texas in central Austin. The neighborhood is influenced by its proximity to the University of Texas with a mix of students, faculty, and long-term residents. So the university's presence really does contribute to the diverse character and nature of the community, and on niche.com there were 201 residents that ranked it as number 7 based on schools, which was ranked an A, housing, which was ranked a C+, good for families, they ranked an A, and safety, they ranked a C+, and the nightlife was ranked A+. So let me know what you think if you've lived in Hancock or if you're from the Hancock area. Number 6 on the list is Upper Boggy Creek, which is actually southeast of Hancock. If you want to be close to the nightlife and you kind of want that suburban, urban feel mix, then Upper Boggy Creek might be the right neighborhood for you. But let's get into the niche rankings. According to niche, Upper Boggy Creek had an A for public schools, it had a B for housing, which is really probably because of the pricing, A for good for families, C+ for crime and safety, and A+ for nightlife. I can't say that I've spent a lot of time experiencing the nightlife in Upper Boggy Creek, but if you're from the area or if you like to visit, let me know what you think about the rankings in the comments below. Number 5 on the list is West University, or probably better known as West Campus. So this area of Austin is closest to the University of Texas. It's one of the top rated communities in the entire city. So let's see what niche.com had to say. There were 67 people that ranked West University, and we can take a look at what they said. The first thing up is public schools. They rated the schools an A, housing was a C, and again, I think it was a C probably because it's priced a bit higher than the average in the area, because right now we're settling around $550,000 for the West University area. Good for families, they ranked it an A. Crime and safety was ranked a B-, and they had an A+ for nightlife. So a majority of the people living in West University are probably going to be students, and this is a user-generated list, so it's going to be what people think about the area. It's not always going to be as much fact as it might be their own emotions or their feelings about the neighborhood. So keep that in mind as we keep working our way through this list. But everyone's situation is unique depending on what the best areas are for you. So if you're looking for an older house or a newer house, or you might want to be close to nightlife or far away from nightlife. If you want a downtown area where you can go out to eat a lot or there's a lot to do, then this might be the right area for you. But if you're in a situation where you're kind of seeing all these options and it gets a little overwhelming, well, that's one of the benefits of working with us, is we'll help you kind of really narrow this down and find the right spot. But let's jump off to niche.com's number 4 spot, which is Shady Hollow. If you're looking for a planned community or a little bit more of that suburban lifestyle, I love Shady Hollow for a lot of those reasons, but let's jump over to niche.com and see what they said, because it was also number 1 on another niche.com list, which was the best place to buy a house in Austin this year. The number 1 reason why a lot of people love Shady Hollow is the public schools. It was ranked an A on the niche list, and this actually makes a lot of sense. Niche ranked it an A for housing. It was ranked in A+ as good for families, and there's no ranking on crime or safety, and it was a C+ for nightlife. When I think about Shady Hollow, definitely don't think about the nightlife, not one of the reasons why I would live there, but I do love it at this spot on the list. And according to niche.com, one of the big reasons why people love this neighborhood is the community feel and how great it is for families. So if you want to check those things out, check out the niche list. You can hear what everybody says about Shady Hollow. So now we're going to jump into the last 3. So we got 3 to go, and these ones make a lot of sense to me, and number 1 actually might surprise you, so stay tuned. Number 3 on the list is Hyde Park, which makes a lot of sense. It is a beautiful neighborhood. It's got a lot of old and new charm, tons of stuff to do, tree-lined streets, and just a lot of really beautiful real estate. Based on the reviews on niche.com, here's what they had to say about the area. So number 1, the public schools were an A. Housing was a C+, but really, again, I think that's more for pricing than anything else. And when you think about families, they ranked it an A. It was ranked a B- in crime and safety, but nightlife was an A+. And I really have to believe it because Hyde Park is surrounded by restaurants, coffee shops, bars. There's a ton to do. There's a new place to go eat every night. So if you're looking for that nightlife, if you're looking for something fun to do with your family, there's going to be a lot of options in Hyde Park. So let's go look at number 2. Number 2 is Brushy Creek. So this is a pretty easy one to put on the list because of affordability. You know, the real estate pricing here is a lot better, and it's one of the most affordable areas in Austin. It was why the housing was an A- on that niche list. And it also shows up as number 1 on niche.com's list of best suburbs in the Austin area. But let's figure out what users said about Brushy Creek. So for public schools, they ranked an A+. For housing, again, it was an A-. And I think that's because of the overall pricing of Brushy Creek. The average sales price here is a little over $350,000. So good for families, they ranked it an A+. And for crime and safety, there was no ranking. And for nightlife, it was ranked a B. For housing, it was an A. And again, I think that's because of the overall pricing of Brushy Creek. I'd be curious to hear what you think about Brushy Creek. It's one of those gems that shows up high on a lot of lists. It is a little more further out, but that's part of what leads to the affordability is the pricing in the Austin core has gotten so expensive over the past couple of years. So that brings us to number 1, which is actually Gateway and the Domain, which surprised me a little bit when I saw that. That's not usually at the top of one of our lists, but this is the user-generated data from niche.com. And so let's dive into why they ranked it number 1. Gateway and the Domain is very desirable for people who want an abundance of walkable shops, grocery stores, restaurants, as well as A+ rated nightlife that's just outside your door. It's all right at the Domain, which is an extremely popular mall full of high-end retail, restaurants, bars, and home to a lot of major employers as well. So the area is almost all rentals, so it tends to be more of a transitionary neighborhood that people enjoy, but ultimately leave when they're ready to buy a house. All right, that's the 7 most desirable neighborhoods according to niche.com. And you know, over on niche.com, they have all kinds of rankings, best neighborhoods, best schools, best communities, best places to buy a house. So if you want to check that out for Austin or any of 40 other cities, we'll link that below. We want to be your resource for all things Austin and all things real estate. So if you have a question about either one of those, send us an email at info@austin.realestate, and we'll see you next time.